In the start of the movie, we see Professor Hyder, who is sitting in his car looking at a picture, and in this picture, 3 dogs were connected together. Meanwhile, a truck comes and stops there, and the truck driver starts going towards the forest to use the toilet. Then Professor Hyder comes behind him and points his gun at him. Then the scene changes, and we see 2 girls, one named Jenny and the other named Lindsay. Both of them had come to Germany for a trip. They were going to a party. At that time, Lindsay was taking the location of that place on the phone, because both of them were not from there, and they did not know anything about Germany. Then both of them took a rented car and left at night for the party. After that, they went quite far, passing through the forest, and lost their way. Suddenly, their tire got punctured. Then Lindsay called car repair people, but there was no signal in the forest, and both of them got stuck in a place where there was no one around for miles. Then both decided that we should stay in the car and ask for help from anyone passing by on this road. After some time, a car passes by. Both of them ask for help from it, and in this car, there was an old man sitting, who, seeing both of them alone, started making strange gestures, which scared both of them, and they locked the car from inside. Then the car left. After that, both got out of the car and started searching for houses nearby, so they could call from there and call someone for their help. After going a bit far, they saw a light burning in a house, so both of them started walking towards that house. Meanwhile, it started raining there, and both of them got quite wet. Then both reached the house and knocked on the door. Then Professor Hyder opened the door. At that time, they told him about their problem, and seeing both of them alone, Professor Hyder asked them to come inside. And in Professor Hyder's house, there were strange paintings, which made them a bit scared. Then Professor Hyder asked them if they were travelers, to which they said, "We are from New York, and have come to Germany to roam around." And together, both asked Professor Hyder to call car repair people for them. But Professor Hyder ignored their words, and again asked the question, "Are you 2 relatives?" To which they said, "No, we are just friends." Then Professor Hyder smiled, and went to the kitchen to get water for them, and together, pretended to call the car repair people. Meanwhile, he mixed drugs into both of their glasses, and gave them to drink. So Lindsay drank all the water, but Jenny's glass fell down. Seeing this, Professor Hyder started yelling at her, and went to the basement to clean up. In the basement, he started filling a syringe. Meanwhile, Lindsay started fainting slowly, because the drugs were showing their effect. Then Jenny again asked Professor to call for help, but Professor refused her, and immediately injected Jenny's neck with the same syringe, making her unconscious too. When Jenny and Lindsay regained consciousness, they found themselves tied up in Professor's lab, and apart from them, there was a man tied up there too, who was the same truck driver. Then, Professor Hyder came there, and told the truck driver, "You are not good. That is why your time to die has come." Saying this, he injected a poison-filled syringe into his body, and he died instantly right there. Then after this, Professor buried his dead body in his garden. After this, we see that Professor brought another unconscious man into his lab, and laid him on the bed beside them. After this, Professor Hyder wore a coat and came in front of those 3. Introducing himself, he told them that he is Professor Hyder, who is a surgeon doctor, and he had a strange and bizarre passion to connect living beings together. Recently, he had surgically joined 3 dogs together, and now this psycho professor wanted to perform the same operation on humans, because the skin tissues of humans matched. Then he started telling them about the operation, that first of all, he will remove the ligaments of their knees, so that they can never stand, and along with that, he will cut the mouths of subject B and C, and attach subject B behind A, and subject C behind B. Then he will remove the skin of their buttocks, and after removing the skin of their jaws, he will attach it there, and will join all 3 of them together, to create a human centipede. By doing this, when subject A will eat food, that food will pass through their stomach, go into subject B's mouth, and from subject B, it will go into subject C's mouth. And obviously, this will be a very disgusting thing, which this crazy doctor was going to do, and he was going to perform this experiment on humans for the first time. Then first of all, he injected the man to make him unconscious. After this, he came near Jenny to inject her, but Lindsay untied herself with the help of her teeth, and started running away from there. Running, she entered a room, and locked the door, but the doctor broke the window of that room and entered. Then Lindsay again ran away, but she slipped and fell near the pool. Even there, the psycho doctor reached her, and he surrounded the entire pool. But suddenly the lights went out, and taking advantage of this, Lindsay started running away from there. She ran and entered the doctor's lab, and untied Jenny, who had become unconscious due to the injection. Then she dragged Jenny outside somehow, but the doctor, coming from behind, injected the same injection into Lindsay, making her unconscious as well. Then lifting both of them again, he brought them back to the lab. After this, he started the operation on them, and the doctor successfully completed his operation. Then a few days later, we see that the doctor's human centipede was ready, but the wounds of those three had not healed yet. Still, he forcefully tried to make them stand, and among those three, the man was in the front, Lindsay was in the middle, and Jenny was at the very end. Those people were feeling a lot of pain, but the doctor made them stand and started taking pictures. Then he showed them in the mirror, and seeing themselves in that condition, all three of them started crying a lot. Then he put them in a cage, and started treating them like animals, and he started giving them food like animals. After this, we see that the doctor took those three outside to the ground. Then the man felt the need to go to the toilet, and all his waste went into Lindsay's mouth, and Lindsay was forced to swallow it. This was very disgusting to see. Then one day, the doctor checked them, and from that, he found out that the man was completely fine, but Lindsay had constipation, because Lindsay was unable to digest the man's waste, and along with that, Jenny, who had not eaten anything, was becoming weak, and it seemed like she would die. So the doctor was thinking of replacing Jenny. Then someone knocked on the door. Police officers were at the door. The police had come there looking for Jenny and Lindsay, who had been missing for many days. The doctor told them that I am so busy with my work that I don't get time to go outside, and I know nothing. Then the doctor went to the kitchen to get water for the police officers, but he mixed drugs into that water and gave it to them to drink. The police officers told him that someone had heard the voices of those missing girls from your house. Hearing this, the doctor started shouting loudly and insisted that they drink the water, but the police officers threw the glass away. Then the doctor again pretended to go to the basement, and there he brought the same syringe filled with drugs so that he could make them unconscious, but this time, he got caught in front of the police officers. So, to defend himself, he said, "You people cannot accuse anyone without a warrant." Because of this, the police left to bring a warrant. After this, the doctor immediately went to his lab, but he did not see his human centipede there. At that moment, suddenly, the man attacked him with a knife, due to which the doctor fell unconscious on the ground. Then the three of them tried to go up the stairs, and somehow reached the top. By then, the doctor regained consciousness, and started chasing them. Then the man started breaking the glass of a window, but the doctor reached there in the meantime. The man took a broken piece of glass, and slit his throat with it, due to which he died. At the same time, the police officers returned to the house, but they couldn't see anyone, so they entered and started searching the house in different places. One officer found the three individuals. Meanwhile, hearing the sound of a gunshot, the other officer ran to find his partner. He saw that his partner was dead. At that moment, the doctor shot and killed the second officer as well, but before dying, the officer also shot the doctor, and both of them died. And apart from the human centipede created by the doctor, no one was left alive there. And with this, the movie ends here.